Hello everyone, this is Amit Goswami. I'm delighted to be here and talk about quantum integrative medicine. Why call it integrative medicine? Because this medicine, this integration, is based on quantum science, a new science that is giving us a completely new view of ourselves. The scientific view more recently has been that all is matter, everything is made up of matter. In fact, everything is made up of molecules of matter. There is no special thing about life, nor consciousness. All is matter, including life and sentience. This idea has given us a view of ourselves which not only neglects parts of our experience, but neglects part of our experience in a rather dangerous way, because we no longer have a complete view of ourselves. We cannot take care of ourselves properly. In this way, if we are material machines, then we become aware of something wrong with us only when the machine doesn't work, only when there is something wrong, and we become disease-centered. So all the medicine is disease-centered. This is a bonanza for developers of medicine, because only medicine and surgery, in some rare cases, radiation treatment can help, nothing else. Because after all, sickness is just a material machine going wrong in the material parts, machine parts. No different than fixing an automobile. Quantum physics showed us something revolutionary, which began a new era of science stuff. Quantum physics shows us that there is consciousness in the equation. These material objects, they are not objects reducible and deterministic. They are objects which are reducible, and the more we reduce them, the more we find that their behavior is indeterministic. This indeterminacy brought about the idea that these material objects, they really are at the elementary level, molecules, atoms, elementary particles. At that level, they really are waves of possibility. Not only there is no deterministic fixity, but waves of possibility cannot reside in the domain of actuality, space and time, where we are, where we observe things, obviously, but they exist in a domain beyond space and time. And this domain has a very radical property: signal-less communication. If we correlate two objects in this domain, correlation can be achieved by a suitable interaction between them. Once correlated, these two objects are capable of instantaneous communication, which translates as signal-less. Communication with signals called locality takes a finite time going through space, whereas signal-less communication can be instantaneous, taking no time at all. But such communication cannot exist in space and time, and therefore we conclude that this domain of potentiality, where the waves reside, is actually a domain where we can even measure it. We can establish it by experimental measurement, finding such signal-less communication between quantum objects. and we have. And then we ask, okay, so this is a very special domain with potential non-locality, signal-less communication. And then a little thinking, of course, establishes the fact when two objects communicate instantly, they cannot be differentiated from one another anymore. They really are one object, oneness. So this is the domain of potential oneness. How do we characterize this domain? We could characterize as the domain which exerts a causation which makes the potentiality into actuality upon measurement. This much is obvious. What more can we say? This is where the mathematician John von Neumann had a wonderful insight. He said that all objects must obey quantum physics. They are all objects of potentiality. So there really isn't any way to convert these objects from potentiality into actuality unless there is a way of exerting influence from something that is non-material. In other words, material interactions cannot convert possibility into actuality, and something non-material must have influence to do just that. What is that non-material influence? And he figured that in every case of quantum measurement, there is always an observer. Without human observer, a measurement cannot be assured, cannot be defined. Therefore, the human self, which we loosely refer to as consciousness, the right way of characterizing it is really awareness, that must have the causal influence. Since it's a wave of potentiality that converts into actuality, von Neumann correctly assumed that this influence is conscious choice, the observer's choice. I choose, therefore,